Welcome to episode 5 of the For the Love of Cricket podcast with Jim and Akim. We had a very exciting weekend of World Cup cricket. 3 games were played, 2 low-scoring ones and a high-scoring thriller with a lot of records being broken. We'll first discuss the game between Afghanistan and Bangladesh. Um, Bangladesh won quite easily in the end, although they had an early scare when they were bowling as Afghanistan saw themselves to 83 for 1. What were your thoughts on the game?
I was a bit disappointed with the Afghani effort, the batting effort. Having gotten to 83 for 1, I was looking forward to them posting a decent total. I would have thought probably at least 240, 250 with how things are going. With the bowling attack that they have, the names that they have, the likes of Rashid Khan, Nabi, and Mujib,
Naveen?
and as well as Naveen, yeah. You would have thought that 250, 240 on the board in subcontinent conditions, they would give a lot of teams cause for concern and a good run for their money, but the batting effort was under par. Credit must also go to the Bangladeshi bowlers who bowled well, the spinners bowled well, especially in the low overs, and they were able to restrict Afghanistan, and that ended up pretty much setting the game up for them, setting it up for their chase.
Not only did Bangladesh have a scare when they were bowling, they also had a scare in their batting, where they saw 2 early wickets falling for 13 runs, and then Mehdi Hassan, one of the batsmen who got a half century for Bangladesh, was dropped on 12 and also dropped on 20.
Yeah,
After that, they cantered home to victory with, as I said, Hassan getting 56 and Najmul getting 59.
yeah. Mehdi has really blossomed into a pretty good all-rounder. He is probably one of the brightest lights in world cricket in terms of being an up-and-coming all-rounder. His batting has really developed. He has found some consistency in his batting, especially in the last 12 months, I would say, 8 to 12 months. And he's really been putting the runs on the board. Very good off spinner, threatening bowler, and then he has really upped his batting ability. So that all bodes well for Bangladeshi cricket.
You see any bright lights for any of the Bangladesh bowlers? Mustafiz didn't open the bowling, which is surprising to me. They went with Taskin and Sharful. All the bowlers got wickets except, well, Mahmudullah doesn't really bowl, but Shakib got 3 and Mehdi got 3 for 25 from 9 overs.
Very
So
good
it was
start.
strangling
Yeah.
spell in the middle. So, what's next for both teams?
I think it's a good start for Bangladesh. In subcontinent conditions, they would like to push and be there and thereabouts. It will be difficult coming up against the stronger, more traditional powerhouses in the tournament. But being in Asia, I feel that they have the cards to pull upsets in this tournament, and they are one of the teams that could be looking to vie for probably a fourth place and sneak through. So. Uh, they are a team to look out for. Afghanistan, they'd like to create some noise at this tournament. I believe that with the bowling attack that they have, they can cause a lot of teams problems, especially the teams that are not very well versed at playing spin. But they'll need to come up with a lot more than 150, 160 runs in their batting effort, and they'll need to get runs on the board, and that will be their major cry, I feel, for the rest of this tournament.
Even though Afghanistan was short on runs, um, do you have any thoughts on Rashid Khan? You went wicketless.
Yeah, it was surprising that he went wicketless, and he was a bit on the expensive side as well. It's probably was a case of him trying to do a bit too much in the chase. they probably thought that, well, in the defense of the total, they probably thought that he would have been one of the main keys or one of the main protagonists if they were to defend the total, and he probably went a bit too attacking, a bit inconsistent, went for a good number of boundaries, but I expect him to bounce back in the next game and for the remainder of the tournament.
On to the more exciting game. South Africa versus Sri Lanka. A lot of records were broken in this one. Can you imagine the night before a game, someone coming up to you and saying, you know, you're going to make 320 runs, but you're still going to lose horribly. What would you have said to them?
I mean 326 runs, first game of the World Cup, playing in Asia. You'd think I would take that as a captain, as a Sri Lankan captain. I would have taken 326 runs before the game, but it really goes to show, how good the batting effort was from Sri Lanka. From South Africa. My apologies. 3 top order centuries and 2 cameos in the middle, finishing it off brilliantly for them to get 420 plus runs.
So let's have a look at all the records for this game. So the 428 for 5 is the highest ever total in a World Cup game. Aiden Markram made 149 balls, is the fastest World Cup century. Interestingly, on that same day, an Australian opener got 129 balls in a list day match.
Yeah.
Fastest ever 100 in list day cricket. Beating A.B. de Villiers and Corey Anderson from New Zealand. There were 107 boundaries, the most in a World Cup game, and 714 runs across the entire. Well, the previous record was 714 for the total runs in a World Cup game across both innings. First up, Quinton de Kock's 83 ball 100. Seeing that, you'd have thought this has to be the innings of the day.
Yeah. I would say that the 100 was in typical Quinton de Kock fashion. You expect him to set the tone for South Africa. Generally, the aggressor in the opening partnership, Temba Bavuma, the captain, he went early, but Quinton went on playing his game. Very strong square of the wicket, strong with lofted shots, very savage on the cut and pull, lofted drives over mid-off, and all the shots were on display during this innings. And as the spinners came on, he just kept flowing and got to an even 100. Probably would have been disappointed not to push past that total, but knowing Quinny, he would take 100 at the start of the tournament first up.
I think his dismissal coincided with his cramping up.
Yeah.
So Quinton and Rassi put on 100, 204 for the second wicket. Quinton got out. Markram entered. In typical Markram fashion, he scored at a good clip. Got to his 50 in 34 balls.
I mean,
and then took 15 more to score the second 50.
Yeah, I mean, the half century was on the brisker side. I mean, probably a bit brisk for what you would associate with Aiden Markram, but the second 50 runs, it was something else. He was just dispatching the bowlers all over. What I would also say is it's a good sign for South Africa that Rassi van der Dussen got 100 this early in the tournament. His form in 2023 hasn't been the best, but he's a brilliant one-day cricketer and averaged over 60 plus, one of the highest averages in one-day cricket of current batsmen, if not the highest average. So it's a key sign for South Africa, somebody that will look to hold the innings together. He's a busy sort of player as well, especially in subcontinent conditions where his numbers are not the greatest. I think his average in Asia before This innings was probably just about 29-30. When you consider that, when you compare that to a career average of 60 plus, you can tell that the subcontinent isn't necessarily his favorite place to play. But starting off the tournament well with 100 against an Asian team as well, loaded with spin, so he will take a lot of confidence from that.
So having scored 428 for 5, obviously there wouldn't have been much to say about the bowling. However, Sri Lanka actually started well. After the first 10 overs, South Africa were 48 for 1. And then the run rate started being picked up, and then in the last 10, that Markram, Klaasen, David Miller onslaught took the innings away from them.
Well beyond Sri Lanka.
140 in the last 10 overs. After being, well, they're already 300, close to 300, 290 after 40.
Yeah, and then when you think of the first game of the tournament, it really strikes home how under par England were in the last 10 overs, only getting about 60 runs, 58 runs in the last 10, and you compare that to South Africa at the best with set batters getting 140 plus runs here in this game.
Then it was Sri Lanka's time to bat. Kusal Mendes started brilliantly. He got 76 off 42. They got 94 in their power play.
Yeah, they really took it on.
They were on par in terms of run rate and score up to the 40th over. The problem with them, they kept losing wickets.
Yeah.
So at the 40th over, they were 309, I think. 309 for 8, while South Africa were 309 for 2.
Wickets in hand.
Mendes got 76, Asalanka got 79, and that's when Shanaka, the captain, finally made more than 20. He got 68.
Yeah, there were key runs for him. Those runs have been beyond due, and that would be a good sign for him for the remainder of the tournament. Sri Lankans would hope.
Could you tell us more about Kusal Mendes' innings?
I think it was a pretty good one, aggressive. He really set out after the South African bowlers. I think they made a decent fist of the chase, all things being considered. You always thought that 420 plus runs would have been a bit too much for them.
It would have been a record chase.
Yeah, it would have been a record chase, but I think played well, some enterprising shots and a lot of boundaries. Would have been disappointed not to carry on, but he gave the Sri Lankan middle order a very good platform for the remainder of the chase. It was interesting that South Africa only used 5 bowlers in their bowling effort.
What else would you have even a bowl?
I was surprised that Tabraiz Shamsi didn't play in the game. I expected him to play in the game. I was a bit surprised.
Yeah, we thought he would have played. They went instead with Ngidi.
Yeah, Ngidi. So it was Ngidi.
To be fair, Ngidi was the best bowler.
Yeah, he was the best bowler.
His 8 went for 49.
He was the best bowler.
Marco Janssen almost scored a century. We actually thought Markram would have bowled some overs. I would have given him some overs, given he had such a good batting performance, and he's been bowling quite a lot lately.
Yeah, and I figure that his overs will be needed later down in the tournament. So this would have been a good opportunity to probably give him 4 or 5 overs here today. Don't know if it was a case of probably cramp or something like that, and then just deciding.
He was feeling the entire innings.
So yeah, they probably just decided against it. It was a bit surprising or eye-opening for me.
So Sri Lanka all out for 326, and they never made it to the 50 overs. They only bat 44. So
A lot of runs.
Serious carnage in that game. The third game was played earlier today between India and Australia. Another low scoring game. Australia all out for 199 in the final over. India getting there with 5 wickets to spare. Any thoughts on that game? No, let's look at the Australia batting performance.
Yeah, the batting performance. The batting performance was disappointing for me on the par. I'm sure they would have hoped to have scored at least probably 260, 270 runs. When you look at the batting performance, the two highest scorers in the innings were Steve Smith and David Warner, the two most experienced players in the conditions. Marsh didn't get much early up, and then
Got 0.
yeah, he got 0, and then Labuschagne only got 20 something, 29 I believe.
Yeah, I thought it said 130.
Yeah, he only got 20 something, but I think this will be the challenge for Australia in these conditions. This isn't their best team. This isn't the strongest squad that they have come to a World Cup with. And I believe that the squad it's missing a number of things. Travis Head isn't at the World Cup as yet. They're missing a second spinner. I saw that Nathan Lyon basically said that he texted the coach and told him that he would be ready and available if needs be. But I feel like this Australian squad is
Missing a second spinner.
missing
a spinner.
they're missing a spinner. I believe that a Zampa Lion combination would be a bit more threatening in this tournament, and the batting is missing key pieces. Travis Head is a very important player for them in one-day cricket, especially at the top of the order. So for him to be missing here from a squad that is already not the greatest, it does bode well for them. Cameron Green didn't get many in this game as well, and they were destroyed by spin. Ravindra Jadeja was brilliant. 3 wickets for like 29, I think, 28. The top spell is what you'd expect from him in these conditions, and he bowls very well against Australia, I believe, and to the right-handed batters. So he will be a handful throughout this tournament. Kuldeep Yadav played in this game. We're unsure of whether he would have played, but he played and he also bowled well. Ravichandran Ashwin bowled well as well, and Bumrah set the tone at the start of the innings, getting Marsh out. So boxes ticked off for India there in their bowling effort. I believe they'll be very happy with that bowling effort.
So Australia fell for 199 from being 3 for 110. India's 3 spinners bowled 30 overs between them. There were 16.5 overs worth of dot balls.
Wow.
So it strangled them in the middle.
and the 30 overs went for probably less than 100 runs, or just about 100 runs.
30 went for 70, 104 runs.
Yeah, for 6 wickets.
Each of yes, 6
wickets in that.
Jadeja 3, Kuldeep 2, and Ashwin got 1.
Yeah, that's a proper squeeze in the middle. They suffocated the life out of the Australian innings.
When it was their time to bat though, they were in a bit of trouble early. Stark got Ishan Kishan out for a duck.
And Hazelwood.
And then Hazelwood got 2 wickets in his first over, having the score 1 run for 3 wickets. He then had Kohli dropped.
Yeah.
At square leg.
Costly drop.
And 12.
Yeah.
In the next over, and there wasn't another chance since. India basically saw it as being a game that they need to score 4 runs or over and set about doing exactly that. Kohli getting 91 and, well, 80,
85,
85 and
yeah.
K. Rowell got 97 to
Not
bring the game home comfortably. Your thoughts on their batting effort?
I think the Australian bowler started well. This is the strength in their bowling unit. The seamers. Josh Hazelwood has been very good in limited overs cricket as of late. T20 cricket and 50 over cricket. His white ball skills have really improved and he has been good. Mitchell Stark is Mitchell Stark. You expect him to lead this Australian bowling attack in 50 over cricket, limited overs cricket. So they got a very good start. Having 199, Australia really needed to take all the chances to make a game of it, and it's generally not the Australian way to sort of put down chances like that, especially a chance that was not necessarily the most difficult. So they would be disappointed about that. But that being said, Virat Kohli and KL Rahul really showed the class. Kohli showed his class, master of the chase as always. He would probably be disappointed that he didn't come not out in this innings. Got out almost anticlimactically. Pull shot to short mid wicket. So stadium basically went silent when he got out. But KL Rahul in his interview post match said that Virat Kohli was basically speaking to him when he got to the crease, and he just told him to play the game like it was a test match. They needed to play the game like a test match for probably the first 5-10 overs and soak up the pressure from the Australian bowlers, the Australian seamers, because probably even they recognized that the spin bowling to come would not have been great, and that once the new ball pressure went away, it would be really cruise control for the rest of the game, and that is what they did. And in the end, they really sauntered home, got a comfortable victory.
That's an interesting point. It was a wicket that was designed for spin.
Yeah.
So
major concerns for Australia and this spin bowling throughout the tournament. Zampa went
for 53, went for over 6. Everybody else was 5 and under.
It was
His
not
first over went for 15.
Yeah, it wasn't threatening, and you didn't feel like he was going to. He didn't feel like he was going to get a wicket. Maxwell bowled some overs as well.
Maxwell bowled pretty well. He went 8 overs for like 30.
Yeah,
he went at like 4 and over.
Yeah,
32, 31, something like that.
Yeah, he bowled a decent set as well, but you just didn't feel like he was going to take 2 or 3 wickets. The 2 or 3 wickets needed to create some pressure for Australia.
He's a really a wicket taker. Just use him to fill some economical overs.
Yeah, exactly.
Leg spinner is the wicket taker, but he has been short on match practice and he has been short on form. So
yeah, he's also swimming into the walls at the swimming pool. That's it. That's why he has to be wearing goggles. He was wearing goggles during the game today. They were saying that he was in the pool and just lost sight of everything and swam straight into a wall. But Zampa is a character, so there's always something going on with him. So that is really no surprise.
So it was a good weekend of cricket. We were thoroughly entertained by Sri Lanka and South Africa. Today was a good game of batting skill to take a team home in a tricky game. So it was pleasing to see that, and we look forward to the games ahead for the coming week. That's the end of this episode. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching, guys.